Boom, guys, we're back. Listen, we're gonna talk about, you guessed it, sauna, all right? There's a reason I'm sitting in here. There's a reason I want to talk to you guys about this, all right? The sauna for me, it's not just something I use to, enjoy myself, right? It's a good place to be. It's nice, it's warm. Sauna for me is a tool for my fitness, and we're going to talk more about that. Talk about the benefits that I've seen from it. I'm a peak phenomenal athlete, and so I use the sauna as a tool, and I want to share that with you guys. Listen, I use the sauna as a workout, essentially. I used to do this. So when I first started using the sauna actively, I was still in the military. We had this great facility right next to, actually lived right next to the facility. So it was very close to me. So I had the gym, I had the swimming pool, I had whatever. And I'll make this point too, just quick. Being close to the environment that you want to improve in, it's so important, okay? You need to be close to it. If it takes you an hour, it's very difficult to get going. But for me, just across the street, inside a military camp, and I got shit done. Let me tell you about that. Training 3 times a day. This is not something I've started with just recently. This is something I've been doing for a long time, and it works. So when it comes to the sauna, I've done days where it's like, okay, maybe like I'm training 3 times a day one day, and some day I'm training 2 times a day. But at the end of that 2 time or that 3 time a day workout, I always have had the sauna as basically a supplement workout to that. The sauna is not something I go into with the intention of being like, hey, this is just nice and cozy. When I do sauna, I blast it, okay? There's a time and place, right? Sometimes you hang with the boys and then, might go a little bit lower on the heat, but essentially, I'm gonna check that these lenses aren't fogged. Good. Essentially, I ramp this shit up to the max, okay? Well, you don't stop on the heat. What is it? 90 degrees Celsius? I think that's 200 Fahrenheit. I'm not sure. But we're talking high heat, and we're talking uninterrupted duration of at least 15 minutes, okay? How long you're able to sit there, it's something to build up to. I'm going to talk more about how to build up to it and why you should build up to it. But it takes a bit of time to getting used to it. When I sit here with some of my friends, it's like, holy shit, man, this is crazy. And I'm like barely sweating because, well, barely sweating, that would be, an exaggeration. But I'm very much used to higher temperatures. So it's something you have to build up to. Of course, you just don't go in here and just blast it and last for like 15 minutes. But when it comes to like building up to it, starting, high temperatures and just for a short amount of time is the best way to go. You need to kind of shock yourself into getting used to it. You're not going to get used to it by doing these low temperatures and everything. The benefits of it, it's something I've learned about a lot from Huberman, but I've done a bit of research myself into it. So you have something called heat proteins that the body basically produces, you could say, when you're undergoing heat like this, okay? And that helps you a lot with not just recovery, but also with growth. And you secrete a lot of growth hormone when you're doing heat work like this in the sauna. So that's super important for building muscle. And the thing about the growth hormone is that you have insulin, right? Insulin is a blocker to growth hormone. And so what's recommended usually is to not eat that much before you do the sauna. This is not something I do all the time though. I used to do it more because I used to not to eat for a long time, then go work out, and then go have like what's it called? You breathe to a cool down, just to breathe, get the body to relax, and then I go in the sauna. Usually something like that, or I breathe and then do a swim and then do the sauna. That was usually how my three workouts a day used to be back in the military. I would go in there, do a run in the morning, in the afternoon. If it wasn't jiu-jitsu, I would do weights and then go swim and then go to the sauna. So for me, the sauna is such a great tool. It's so important to be used to a lot of heat, especially if you want to compete at a high level. First of all, because you don't always know where you need to perform. Maybe it's in a hot environment, maybe it's not. If you're like a boxer, usually the venues are, let me just check if this is recorded. Yeah, usually the venues are just cooler, but for the Muay Thai fights that I did, it was a warm environment. The stadium isn't that cooled down, so it's very important to be used to it. That's of course something you learn too when you train in a place like Thailand, where it's warm all the time and you're sweating all the time, and it's like the heat while you're doing the work, it's crazy. And like so that's one thing about being the heat and stuff. But one of the main reasons why we humans are so powerful is because our ability to sweat is so insanely superior to other species. There's no species on this planet that sweats the way we do, to the capacity that we do, and the efficiency that we do. So that's something we need to tend to. Why not work on our strengths instead of ignoring them? Just like I talk about, even though I have big muscles, I'm a big fan of long distance running, because long distance running is one of the things that separates us from other species, and we want to be good at that. It's the essentials that's like 2 essentials. I'll give you another one, which is pattern recognition, but that's not something we talk about in this video. But those 3 things are essentially something that separates us from other species. Pattern recognition, our ability to sweat, and our ability to sweat is of course linked with our ability to do long distance runs. So being able to sweat, training the body to sweat more, is something that's going to benefit you a lot. Okay, you're going to be, because what sweat essentially does is that you put water, like the body puts water on the skin, and then that water is expected to be picked up by the air. Because if you blow on your, if you let's say you do this, lick or kiss your skin, right, and then you blow on your skin, you feel that it's cooler when you blow on the part that is wet, right, from where you kiss your hand or put water on your hand or whatever you did, right? You feel, then that's the main function of sweat. That's how sweat works. It's not like just releasing heat through the water that you're secreting through your skin. It's the ability for the skin to, or for the air to come in and pick up on the skin, on the water itself, on the moisture on your skin. That's what cools you down, and that's why I'm not big a fan of compression clothing. I'm not a big fan of it, because I want air. I want air to be able to come in and do what it's supposed to do. So I don't use that much compression clothing, and especially not when I'm doing long distance stuff. It's not something you should do. Honestly, you wear loose clothing. That's why tank tops is so good. And don't be afraid of wearing tank tops, guys, because if you're someone who sweats a lot, you need to cool that down, right? And that requires you to not have all this clothing on you. So that's a good benefit of being in the sauna. You need to be used, your body needs to learn how to sweat more. When I didn't train, when I was a loser gamer, my ability to sweat wasn't as good as it is now, because I hadn't trained it. And you get better at it as you train and train and train. But the sauna is a great tool for really supercharging that ability to go in there and sweat a lot. And sweating a lot when you're working out, guys, having pits and all that, like in general, not something you need to be ashamed of, okay? It's very natural to sweat. So my iPhone did overheated in the sauna, but this is, look how shredded we are after we've been in the sauna. Crazy, right? Crazy stuff. So yeah, guys, as I said, with the sweat pits, don't be afraid to have sweat pits, okay? Walking around with sweat pits is completely natural. You need, like, that just shows you have good sweat, all right? So no need to be ashamed of that if you're having sweat pits. If people point that out, hey, you have sweat pits, fuck them, right? Who gives a shit? It's very important to have that nice ability to sweat a lot. And so for the optimal sauna protocol, right, as I said, do 15 minutes, try to aim for that at least at high heat, and just try doing that, you know. Yeah, that's right. Try doing that. We do it. Keep going. It looks good for the camera. Don't make everyone jealous. Okay, so try going at it for like 15 minutes, high heat. One thing I will say though is that you need to hydrate a lot. I don't always go like 15 minutes, super high heat, when I've done stuff like today, where I did like a very, very hot 15K run. We sweated a lot, we had to stop for water. It's crazy warm out here in the parks now, in Thailand. So you should adjust it accordingly to like what you've been doing previously during the day, so that you don't get too dehydrated. Then you're gonna go out there in a coma. And it's always a risk. Right? There's always a risk. If you want to push it to the next level, there's always going to be a risk of, hey, you know, you're going to be dehydrated, but like to which level? Is it like to a level where you're actually like passing out after the sauna? Because that's not good, right? So you're trying to adjust it for that. But if you haven't sweated a lot already in the day, if you haven't, you know, lost a lot of water, then go at it for, you know, try pushing the limits. And make sure to hydrate properly, guys, okay? Get some sodium in there. You don't necessarily need the sugar if you want to avoid the insulin like for the growth hormone thing. So, but you use some sodium, put some salt in the water, have one smaller bottle with this, a bit of sodium in it, and have a bigger bottle with just nice cold water. When it comes to cooling down in the sauna, don't put water on your stomach because it heats you up more internally. You want to cool down your palms, your feet, and your neck and your head. Okay, that's what you want to cool down. There are these hats too, which I've seen. The Russians out on this island I was at, Koh Samui, they sat in the sauna all day with these hats. Okay, they have these hats on because you don't want to cook your head too much. It's very kind of ironic that you're sitting in the sauna and your head is the highest thing up there, because if you get too warm in your head, you actually start to boil your cells. And what that does is that you permanently lose brain cells, right? So you can get dumber. Imagine, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get dumber, guys. We want to get smarter. We want to stay smart, stay healthy. So, right. So don't do that. You know, make sure to cool down your head. Have some nice cold water and just...
Oh my God.
Or it's just water. It's just water, guys. All right? So do that. Make sure to cool down all properly. Also, for like the duration of it and the intensity of it, you want to get a pulse. Okay? You want to have your heart rate so you feel your heart beating properly. Okay, that's why I say this is kind of like a workout in itself when you're doing it to this level, because you're going to get a pulse. If you're wearing a pulse monitor, of course, make sure that's like you can use it in a sauna. If you're using a Whoop band, if you want to measure your heart rate, go ahead. But you're gonna get, we're aiming for levels where we're basically like, if you guys know about zone cardio, where you split up the zone heart rates and the different zones, we want to get up into like a zone 2 essentially, just from our heart rate, if not borderline zone 3. We're talking maybe not zone 3, that might be too high. Be careful about that, but 140 at least on the heart rate. That's a good one. You want this to be a challenge, okay? You don't want to go out of the sauna and be like, damn, that was too easy. You want to be like, whew, glad I made that one. Right? Everything is a challenge. And I think that's, you know, that's probably one thing I do bad. I make everything freaking challenge. So sometimes I have to do like sauna sessions where I don't go in that much, and I actually, you know, enjoy my time in there. I enjoy, you know, just sitting in the heat and actually don't push it to this level. But just so I like, because I find everything to be a challenge, right? If I can't do a 1K run, I have to do 5, I have to do 10, right? And for me, but that's absolutely been a good one for me with the sauna, because I'm actually able to go in there sometimes and not think about performing optimally. It's like a way to relax too. You can use it for that as well. Amazing tool for just sitting in there, clearing your mind. I'm actually going to make a separate video on the meditations and stuff, so that's coming out soon. But it's amazing for that too. But yeah, I just wanted to tell you guys about that. And I want to tell you guys too that if you go ahead and do this, you're going to see some crazy result in how shredded you are. Not just because you're losing all this water weight, right? And you're looking fucking dieseled. But over time, you're going to, I swear to God, you're going to lose body fat. You're just going to be more shredded. Try it, okay? Try it, let me know. Send me a message on Instagram and tell me, once you do this, once you feel more shredded, you shoot me a message on Instagram. Go follow my Instagram, by the way. It's in the description. And shoot me a message there and be like, hey Nico, I followed your advice, it works, of course it does. and I'm more shredded. I look better. The ladies love me, right? This shit fucking works. I swear to God. But yeah, your ability to sweat is super important for performance. This was a few of the tools, a few of my experiences using the sauna as more than just a recreational thing, but actually as a tool for performance and looking good, feeling good. I do this sometimes in the mornings too, guys. Not that much, because you don't want to boil your head, you know, like a boiled egg in the morning, so you can't perform well. Because if you're dehydrated, your work suffers, everything suffers. So in the mornings, when I do this as part of my morning routine, usually I do like 10 minutes, maybe a lower heat, or maybe very, very short amounts of time at very high heat, just to get a bit of sweat on, you know, sweat out the weakness, as I usually say. I think that's a good mindset to have. Mindset's super important for the sauna too. You know, if you go in there and you actually believe, hey, I'm sweating out the weakness, that's what you're gonna do. It's all in here, guys. And I do this when I'm sick too. I'll tell you guys, whenever I'm sick, which is very, very rare, extremely rare, I go in the sauna. I do the sauna, and I go for runs too. If I do the runs, I usually pack myself in with like hoodies and stuff, because you always want to sweat out the weakness, sweat out the, you know, everything that's inside of you. And it's just good for the body, because your body needs to be heated up. You're helping the fever. Fever is good. You know, don't want to, never, guys, stop trying to suppress your fevers. Fevers are the most important thing to the body. It's the natural immune system taking control and being like, hey, we need to fight this thing. So you can try it, feel free. Not medical advice, but it works for me. I look good, I feel good, perform well. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed some sauna tools. Hell yeah, go get it. Take care. You want to punch the camera? You want to punch the camera?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Take care, and God bless.